Welcome to this special episode of Keeping It Real with Rob and Ning. Tonight we're sharing a special story of a family that came from the Philippines to Pflugerville, Texas, and are experiencing the American dream. And it's a special story because it's part of Ning's family. Their bunso, Andrew, and his wife Joam started in the Philippines, and it's a story that spans many years, and it's a great story about how they're achieving the American dream. But let's start with when they were in the Philippines.
Yeah. So before na pumunta sila rito sa Amerika, money was always a struggle. Having 3 kids and 2 of them goes to college. So Joam was a music director sa church, and then Andrew was a computer programmer. So kahit na meron silang kinikita, it's not enough. They did not own a home in the Philippines. So it's been hard. Pero buti na lang na approve yung petition ni Ate Beth kay Andrew and his family, and that took 20 years, Rob. 20 years of waiting to be able to get here in the U.S.
That's amazing. This
Yes.
story spans 20 years. So let's watch and join them on their journey.
Kahit masaya ang mag-asawang Andrew at Joam sa Pilipinas sa piling ng kanilang 3 anak, nababalisa pa rin ang mga ito buwan-buwan tuwing haharapin nila ang tungkuling pinansyal. Isang malaking pagkakataon ang dumating sa pamamagitan ng petisyon patungong Amerika.
My sister Beth, she's the one who petitioned us with the help of Ning, my other sister. As far as I remember, I was like 7 or 8 years old when they started to petition me. And it took me like almost 20, 25 years to wait on that process.
We thought about our kids, and we said that if not for us, maybe it's a good opportunity for our kids, for their future.
That's the deciding factor, I think.
We stayed with my sister-in-law, Ate Lalen, in their house for a few months. We arrived in March, and by April or May, my 2 sons and my husband Andrew already had a job. They started to work immediately. I started my work, I think August or September of that year. And then we moved to our own apartment by July or August.
Yeah.
Yes.
Some July, August. My sister is giving me assurance na sabi niya, with all your background in the Philippines, with all your credentials, madali ka makakahanap ng work. But again, the moment you step into the US, it's totally different world. So, ang nag-encourage lang sa akin is because I need to do this, especially my wife is diabetic, so I need to have her insurance and all that. So, yun yung sabi ko, sige, kahit 5 trabaho pa yan, I will do it.
Kinuha ni Andrew ang unang trabahong tumanggap sa kanya. Nagtrabaho ito sa hotel. Bagamat ang buong mag-anak ay nakahanap na ng trabaho, hindi nila namalayan kung gaano kabilis lumaki ang mga utang at bayaran.
We didn't know a lot about credit cards and credit scores and things like that. So we were not very wise for the first few years.
Having no idea whatsoever, so hindi namin nako-compute yung interest, hindi namin nako-compute yung accumulation nung lahat ng ganung bagay, ng aspect ng credit, plus the credit score. Eventually, nagulat na lang ako dahil meron na kaming gustong gawin, like buying cars para maka-move kami simultaneously, and then we want to rent out para meron kaming sariling apartment. Hindi na namin yun magawa kasi dahil yung credit score.
May check.
May chinecheck na nila.
We would call my sister-in-law Ate Ning. We have zero knowledge about financial wisdom, so we would ask her, he would call her and ask her about these things like our credit, or the things that we faced with our credit problems, and then she would give us an advice. So basically, we are just thankful she was there. Our problem was we cannot just get any apartment or any other house because we had 2 large dogs. So when they know that you have large dogs, immediately you
Automatic,
get
eh.
disapproved. So we said maybe it's time for us to consider buying a house. He started
it's-
working in Amazon as an
IT
IT
support.
support engineer. And I think that's the very first
IT job that I
breakthrough
have.
that we had. The pay was really good. And aside from that, there were a lot of
Benefits.
quote-unquote perks and benefits. Those benefits really helped us to, have stable, make everything financially stable, especially settling some debts that we probably had incurred in the first few years here.
Nang tumatag na ang estado ng pamilya, panahon na para mangarap ng mas matayog.
Ate Ning was pushing us, it's time for you guys to get your own house. And I said, that's a really impossible dream.
My sister and I always communicate na sabi niya, with this job you have right now, with this money that you're earning, maging strict ka lang dun sa pag-build ng credit mo. In 2 years' time, you can buy. Ako, I literally cried. Now that I am ready, now that I have the work, pero ba't parang wala?
The future of energy is Sunrun. Save 20% on your electric bill. Ask about no upfront cost solar at 888-860-9530 or visit keepingitrealsolar.com.
Welcome back to Keeping It Real. Ning, let's start when they first landed in America. They went to live with your sister in Austin, Texas. Andrew needed to get a job, and the job he could find was at a hotel cleaning rooms, right? Very basic job, housekeeping. And so they're a large family with your sister in a home. They did get credit cards because, their expenses were low living with your sister. But the problem is, they didn't understand credit, and they went out, used them, didn't pay them back on time, and their credit score got hit.
Right. And I remember when he asked me what can they do. So, ang unang-una ko pong ginawa is I looked at the credit report and I found out na minax out nila yung kanilang mga credit cards. And so that's the first thing that they have to do is to pay down those principal. Kasi po, and we've seen this multiple times, Rob, yung effectiveness ng 30% rule. So, ibig sabihin po nun, kung let's say tayo po ay capable to use yung ating credit card up to $1,000, yung 30% po nun is $300. So, kung gagawin natin sa sarili natin na pag nakagastos tayo ng $300 dun sa $1,000 worth of credit card, yun na yung max natin. And then we pay it off every month, use it again up to $300 and then pay it off. In 90 days, makikita po natin na talagang mabuboost agad yung ating credit score. And so that's what really happened to them. So, pinakita ko sa kanila that they have to pay this down, they have to pay this down, they have to pay this up. And sure enough, 90 days, tumaas yung kanilang credit.
And they were good. They followed your advice, and their scores did go up.
Yes.
And it opened the door for them to move out of your sister's home
Yes.
and into their own apartment. Still not big enough for them, right? And during that time when they were in the apartment, obviously Andrew's, educated to be IT, right? So he went to Amazon and got a job as an IT engineer with Amazon. And so that was a huge boost to their income. And then some kids and Joam got jobs too. And now they want to get a home to fit their family.
Right. And so this time, ang kailangan naman nila, paano sila mape-prepare for home buying. And so we run that numbers, kung magkano yung kanilang income, gross income, magkano yung mga natira nilang debt and all that stuff. And sure enough, they're qualified for an FHA loan. So as we know, ang FHA loan po is a government loan na ang down payment is minimal. 3.5% you can buy a house. Sa case nila Andrew, I think he was approved for 5% down payment, which is good. And in fact, ginamit niya yung some of his retirement money to be able to do this. So we're ready to go. So they're very excited and would like to find a house right away.
Yeah, they're progressing quite nicely. And then, then in 2020, what happened? The pandemic.
I know.
Right? And so things shut down. Housing kind of slowed down just temporarily there during the shelter in place and just kind of shut the doors to buying at that moment.
Right. I remember actually, Robert, nung 2020, right? Yung property sa Austin, Texas will be listed for $210,000 and then it will go up to $300,000. Kaya parang nawalan sila ng nawalan sila ng energy to look for more homes dahil sabi nga nila, how can I win this? We're only FHA and 5% down payment.
Yeah, they became a victim of the Austin market. You have big IT companies moving into the area, thousands of people moving in, and the market, houses are on the market for a day, maybe two, all cash. And here we are with FHA. And so it was very disappointing.
That's a tough one.
Very, very hard on them for a while.
Right. So Rob, let's see what happened next.
Nang magsimula ng maghanap sina Andrew at Joam ng kanilang bibilhing bahay, nagulat sila sa tindi ng kompetisyon sa merkado. Pataasan ng alok, agawan.
Nung mag-start silang mag-open ulit, but the market totally
Became crazy.
Turn around, super crazy.
So we wanted a new build, a newly constructed house, but we gave up because it was so hard.
If you want a new house, yung newly built, you will be listed. And when we learned na ang listing up to like 200 already.
Yeah.
So pag 200 ka, definitely you will get the chance probably next year
Or 2 years from now.
or 2 years from now. So I literally cried. It's like sabi namin, now that I am ready, now that I have the work, pero ba't parang wala?
Another problem that we had was they were raising the prices of these old houses. There would be a lot of renovations after you get the house. And we did not have the money for the renovations.
Nawawalan na talaga ng pag-asa ang dalawa. Isinuko na lang ang lahat sa taas.
We were praying for a house. And then when eventually we couldn't find anything else, we just entertained again renewing our lease for the house that we were in.
We pray, we really lift everything to God, and then parang wala nang option. I really asked the Lord. Sabi ko, Lord, ano ba to?
And we had time frame to consider. And our landlord was also already asking us about our decision.
Nangungulit na eh.
Yeah, if nangungulit na siya kung magre-renew kami ng lease. So we were really pressed for time. We won't look for a house anymore. And literally, this is what I said. I said, God, if you want us to buy a house, I would want it like you just dropped it in my lap. Just like that. She tells you that I have 60 names in my list, but I don't know why I chose your name. And she called us first before anyone else.
Call 888-860-9530 for no upfront cost solar. Or visit keepingitrealsolar.com.
Welcome back to Keeping It Real. Ning, it's really interesting. They've done all these things, Andrew and Joam and family, going down this American dream. And now they've hit just like, it seems like a wall, right? Because they're caught up in the pandemic and they're caught up in a crazy real estate market as an FHA buyer. And they're just extremely frustrated.
Yeah, I remember talking to different realtors during that time, Robert. I was in Maryland and still talking with the, with their agents and everything. And I actually told my brother, we just need to pray because I think it's their time to own property. But because it's just a crazy market and they're a victim of it, but I believe that things will happen.
Yeah, and they pray all the time. And so even Joam said her prayer was, God, if you wanted us to get a home, drop it in my lap. I would say drop it next to me, but anyway, she prayed that. It's frustration is just bottling up, right? And so, but something happened, and it's nothing short of a miracle. So let's watch.
Sumuko na ang mag-asawa. Isang umaga, nanalangin si Joam ng mataimtim. Nang bandang tanghali ng araw na yon, biglang nakatanggap ng tawag si Andrew mula sa isang real estate agent na nagsabing,
There's this one house, fallout contract you might want to consider. And then
A new construction.
And then I asked her, sabi ko, can you give me a link of the house so that ma-check ko siya? Sabi niya, no, there's no link of the house yet because this is not offered in the market yet because it's a fallout contract. So sabi niya, if you want, I can give you the address. If you want, para ma-check mo.
We were going to this construction site, and I said to him, isn't this one of the very first construction sites that we really wanted? You would pass by a really beautiful lake. And I said, wow, this is a really nice place. So I told him, Pa, I like that place. Gusto ko yung lugar na yan. And we saw this house, and it was like, when you stepped, you said, when you go inside and you feel like
you have that confidence.
This is it.
Na,
like you have a feeling that this is it.
Nagkatinginan kaming dalawa, sabi namin. I think ito na yung binibigay ni Lord sa atin.
Yeah. And literally parang it was dropped in my lap. Just like that. Ay, iyak ako. It was a very, very strange day. Very, very strange day for us. Just, out of the blue, someone calls you, she tells you that I have 60 names in my list.
Yeah,
That's exactly what she said. I have 60 names in my list, but I don't know why I chose your name. And she called us first before anyone else. The size and, everything is just right for us. We saw the yard and we thought about our dogs and how they will be happy with the yard. And the budget was just...
that fits the budget.
Everything would just fit. It's really a miracle because even the time frame, the time frame was just right.
All the closing,
for
all the
us.
processing fits in just 1 month.
Kailangan na lang ayusin ang mga dokumento ng mag-asawa para maumpisahan na ang proseso ng pagbili ng bahay. But that's easier said than done.
We did not know. We like a zero knowledge about everything. Zero. I'm just so thankful kasi si Ate Ning nandun. When we got this house, she was there every step of the way. And I'm just so thankful kasi we couldn't have done it kung wala siya. Kasi na-stress na kami, na-pressure na kami with all the information that you have to have. But then, there's somebody who is very knowledgeable and you can ask her, and she gives you good advice. So we're really thankful for that.
Natupad rin sa wakas ang pangarap ng pamilya ni Andrew at Joam na magkaroon ng sariling bahay. Isang bahay na sadyang hulog ng langit.
I think like more than a week or 2 weeks that whenever I enter my garage, I'm crying. Like I said, this is my home. And this is one thing that really my desire. Kasi alam ko sa Pilipinas, hindi ko kayang ibigay sa kanya yan eh.
Yeah.
And that is one thing na ni-request na sa akin even before we get married. The fulfillment,
The joy.
the happiness. Really thankful for the Lord in doing this.
Deep inside, my sense of security is really, owning my own home. It doesn't really matter if it's just a small house, as long as it's ours. It's our house. So I'm thankful, Pap. Thank you.
So I believe in miracles now,
I
right?
do.
This is a miraculous story, but there's some lessons to be learned here, right? Number one, they didn't give up. So easy to give up. They followed advice, right? They did all the things they needed to do, right? And they prayed, right? That obviously helped as well. But I mean, it's a challenge. The American dream is not easy. You have to work, you have to fight through things to get there.
Right. And also, marami tayong mga clients din, Robert, na nagtatanong, pagka merong mga bidding wars na ganito, we're in a crazy market, so what can we do? I think, just stay in the course. Kasi ang mahalaga po is naka-focus tayo dun sa goal. Especially, itong sila Andrew and Joam, in America, they even said na hindi pala ganun kadali. And I don't think merong madali, right? Everything is hard, but if you keep pushing, if you will focus on your goal, you can make it, just like what happened to them.
Yeah, and I know this is a special story for you because you went side by side with them. You gave them advice, and so you're very proud of them. And,
I
and
am
it's
very
an
proud of
emotional
them.
story for you. And,
Yeah.
and that makes a lot of sense.
Yes, and I'm just so happy for them. And like what you said, I believe in miracles too, and that's what happened to them. But obviously, kinakailangan din tayong may gawin sa sarili natin. Be responsible on our debt, and then save as much money as you can. And don't be afraid. Don't back out just because maraming mga, things happening crazy around us on sa real estate or sa loans.
Yeah.
Like them, kung hindi nila pina-check yung kanilang credit, then probably it will just continue on, and they think that that's the right thing to do. So it's always good to be able, someone to be checking on us, making sure that we are on that course.
And I want to thank Andrew and Joam and their family and their puppies for their wonderful story. And Ning, I want to, just share how you were by them all the way, and it's just a terrific story. And I'm sure there's other people that would love to have your advice, just like that. And you always walk side by side with those people. And so, if they do, they can call us at 888-860-9530, or they can visit us online.
Or go to our website po and schedule yourself for a free consultation with either Robert or Ning, and visit our Facebook page, Get Real with Rob and Ning.
And don't forget to join us again next week with Keeping It Real with Rob and Ning.
See you soon.
It's unreal, the whole petition. Not gonna happen, they say. Very hard to keep their hopes up at the time. More so, the process took them more than a couple of decades. Hey, it's real. Process the paperwork and it can happen. So they came, the whole family, Andrew, Joanne, Brian, Jeff, and Emmeline. The rest is history. They all got a job in a few weeks. Now, in a short period of time, Andrew and his family now have a brand new home. Here, nothing is impossible if you put your mind to it. Throughout the whole process, my siblings Lalaine and Ning, they helped make it possible. And Papang, Mamang, and Ate, even though they are no longer here with us on earth, they are all for that. So I know especially Papang, He is now fully rested and happy to see us all unite and keep pushing towards the brighter tomorrow. So congratulations, Andrew, our youngest Ning. You and your entire family enjoy life to the fullest, and to God be the glory.
This season on Keeping It Real with Rob and Ning.
I was really praying and praying. Oh, now I'm about to cry. Nag-iisip naman ako ng utangan.
Kasi alam ko sa Pilipinas, hindi ko kaya ibigay sa kanya yun.
My oldest sister passed away. So, that's why I didn't want to talk.
You have questions about reverse, probably they can help you guys understand.
Well, let's get them on the payroll.
Sunday afternoons on TFC. Also available on I Want TFC.
The future of energy is Sunrun. Save 20% on your electric bill. Ask about no upfront cost solar at 888-860-9530 or visit keepingitrealsolar.com. Call 888-860-9530 for no upfront cost solar or visit keepingitrealsolar.com.